Welcome, students, to another episode of Geometry with Mr. Selby. Today we are going to be learning about distance. All right. Whoops. Man, I clicked the wrong button, guys. My bad on that one. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Geometry with Mr. Selby. Today we're going to be learning about distance. All right. So hopefully in one of the last lessons you watched Mr. Selby graphing on coordinate planes. All right. Today we're going to find the distance between 2 points. We've already done midpoint. All right, so distance and irrational numbers are the two big things we're going to focus on today, but mainly just distance. All right, so distance formula on a number line. The distance between 2 points is the absolute value of the difference between their coordinates. So hopefully you remember what absolute values are. Absolute values means that whatever the answer is, it's positive. So if you have 3 minus 5 and you're trying to find the absolute value of it, it's 2. 3 minus 5 is -2, but the absolute value of it is 2. It's whatever the number is, as long as it's positive. All right? So for this one, let's just say for the distance, let's say that this is on the 11th block, and this one's on the 3rd block. So if we follow the first part, we did 3 minus 11, we get -8. But since these absolute value bars are here, we switch it over to positive 8. Absolute value means the distance from 0. And -8 is 8 units from 0. X1 minus x2, again, if this is 11 and this is 3, you do 11 minus 3, 8, right? No matter what, either way, you're going to get the right answer. It is 8, all right? Either one of those equations work, all right? Let's try it out in real life. Here we are on a number line, trying to find the distance between these, all right? So one thing that you can do that I don't recommend because it doesn't work all the time, but you're probably like, Mr. Selby, why don't you just count them? 1, 2, 3. You can do that, all right? But it doesn't work every time. And trust me, it's so much better if you can learn the distance formula and everything, all right? You just take -6, subtract 3, subtract -3, all right? And you're going to get -3 altogether, which is going to be the absolute value of that is 3. -6, -3, distance formula. As you can see, -6 minus -3 is the same thing as -6 plus 3, which is going to come out to -3. Absolute value of -3 is 3, so you just simplify it. The answer is 3. All right? So these are 3 apart, but it'll get harder. It'll get harder. All right, like this one. Yes, you could count, but remember, first of all, distances are not negative. There's no such thing as negative distance. Like, I don't say I live negative miles away from the school. Like, I don't live negative 15 miles from the school. I live 15 miles from the school. You know what I mean? You can't live negative miles away from something. So there's no such thing as negative distance. So whenever you see like a negative here for like distance, fake news. Don't trust it. All right? You can count this and you figure out that's 8. But, I mean, one thing that you can do here is you can actually use the formula. So it's -5 minus 3 is going to come out to -8. The absolute value of that is 8. Oh, yeah. All right. So this is where it gets more difficult. All right. I don't know if a lot of you guys recognize what this is, but this little fancy check mark thingamajigger is a square root. Yeah. So for that, I would really recommend you use your calculator. All right. Use your calculator. You don't have a calculator, just Google it. Seriously. Google uses a calculator. Use your Chromebook. So, I mean, there's no excuse for not being able to do this. Like, you can do this. You can do this. It is confusing, but you have the materials. You have the tools. You can get this done. All right? All right. So as you can see, we got x1, y1 right here for P. And Q is x2, y2. All right? So what you're going to do is you're going to subtract x2 minus x1, square it, y2 minus y1, square it, add them together, square root it. That's your distance. Let's try it out. Find the distance between -4, 1, which is E, and F, which is 3, -1. So -4, 1 would be our x1. This would be our y1. This would be our x2. This would be our y2. All right? Copy down the distance formula. Seriously, guys, what you should do now is you should pause this video. And I'm going to stop talking for about 5 to 10 seconds. I want you guys to copy down this video, take a picture of it, get a temporary tattoo of it. You know what I mean? Just copy this down, get it in your brains, okay? This is a tough formula, to memorize. All right? Memorize this down. You'll be good. All right? You'll be good. All you have to do is plug the stuff into it and work it out. Okay? This is what happens when you plug it in. So remember I said this is the x1, this is the y1? Look, we got x1, y1. Look, negative 4, 1. So x1, y1. So we plug it in. Where does x, and then this is our x2, y2. x2, y2, 3, negative 1. Let's plug these in. So where does our x1 is negative 4, right? Where do we plug in our x1 to? Oh, right here. Right there. Yep, perfect. Our x2 right here is negative 3. So we go up to our x2 and plug it in there. Oh, perfect. There it is. 3. 3 minus negative 4. Okay. Our y2 is negative 1 right there. We plug it in. Negative 1 right here. Minus our y1, which is positive 1, right? So we plug that in right there. So now we've got 3 minus negative 4 squared plus negative 1 minus 1 squared, square root of all that. All right? And that will tell us what our distance is. So let's work through this. First thing you should do, I don't know if you guys remember PEMDAS, is what's inside the parentheses. All right? So this is going to turn into 7. 3 minus negative 4 is the same thing as 3 plus 4, which is going to be 7. So you're left with 7 squared. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So you're left with negative 2 squared. All right? Now you use your exponents. You've done parentheses. You do your exponents. All right? You get 49. 7 squared is 49. Negative 2 squared is 4. Add them together, you get 53. All right, so square root of 53 is your answer so far. And I think that's what we're going to go with here. Yeah, so whenever you get a square root like that, for my class, you are good to normally write it as a square root, unless I say, tell me what it is in decimal form. All right, so you could get away with writing square root 53. Now, that's kind of weird if somebody's like, yo, how many miles do you live away? And you're like, yeah, I live square root 53 miles. And they look at you like, why? Why did you say that? But you could be like, yeah, I live like 7.28 miles away. 7.25, right? That's probably what you would say. So, I mean, it's best to be able to know how to do both. And when you're like, Mr. Selby, how did you figure out the square root of 53 is 7.28? Well, you just type it into Google. What's the square root of 53? Literally, it'll tell you. It's amazing. Google's fantastic. I'm a big fan. Graph the ordered pairs and check by using the Pythagorean theorem. So we can check this really quick. This looks like this is 2 units, and this looks like this is 7 units, right? So 7 squared plus 4 squared would be 53, or 7 squared plus 2 squared would be 53, and then square root it, and you get 7.28. All right. Oh, and this PowerPoint luckily goes through it. How about that? Wow. Ooh, challenge problem. All right, guys, go ahead and get through it. All right, I give you guys a lot of time there to pause that video and write it down. So, first things you want to do, hopefully you got this correct. So there's a few things you can look at right here, and you can know that this is going to be at least 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4. Okay? At least 4. So, it's going to be at least 4, but it's going to be larger than 4. As you can see, it goes across. Okay, so we know A is incorrect. We know B is incorrect. We know D is incorrect, so it's got to be C. That's the only one larger than the 4. And there's a simple way to do this. Number one, what you could do is you could do the distance formula. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. And do X1 minus X2, or X2 minus X1 squared plus Y2 minus Y1. And you should get 4 squared and 2 squared. And then add them together, and you should get 20. And then square root it, you get square root 20, which ends up coming out, I think, to like 4.4. So, yeah, that's probably your best option I would do. But, yeah. And that's it for today. So, guys, if you had questions or issues with this, remember, When in doubt, follow the formula. All right? And this is tough. So make sure you guys complete the worksheet for today because it does have some notes on it for you. If you have questions, concerns, or anything, please message me on Schoology. Email me. Come to Zoom office hours. Send me a fax. Send some pigeon mail. Smoke signals. Hit me on the pager. Whatever you need to do. All right. Contact Mr. Selby. Okay. And I can help. I hope everything's going well. I hope you guys are staying happy, healthy, hydrated, and safe. All right. Have a great day, guys.